What's up, bro? I'm just tired of trying to work with wood that isn't square.
Right, I have got 2 new tools that are going to solve all your problems.
What?
If you've ever tried working with wood that isn't totally square, you'll know it can be a complete pain.
To get around this, you may have seen people use a combination of both surface planers and thickness planers to prep the wood before use.
So in this video, we're going to take you through these 2 Triton machines, show you how they're different, and whether or not you need both.
So let's kick things off with the TSPL152, which is the surface planer. If you're watching from the USA, you'll probably know this as a jointer.
The surface planer is the logical machine to start with out of the 2, as it helps remove cups, bows, crooks, twists, and warps from the first 2 adjacent faces of the wood. You can then use the thicknesser to flatten the remaining 2 sides to make them parallel to the first 2.
On the surface planer, the cutting head is beneath the wood, and you control the speed at which the material is fed through using push blocks or push sticks.
The cutting blade is perfectly level with the outfeed table, and when the wood passes over it, it remains totally flat and level, whilst all the imperfections are cut away.
When it comes to planing the second face, you'll want to keep that original flat surface tight up against the adjustable fence. That way you'll get 2 perfectly flat faces that are square to each other.
The thicknesser has the cutting head above the wood and is set perfectly parallel to the bed. The speed at which the wood is fed through the machine is controlled automatically by the infeed and outfeed rollers.
As well as making faces parallel to each other, thickness planers are also used to reduce the thickness of your wood down to whatever you need for your project.
Let's look at the specs. These 2 machines have lots of similarities.
Firstly, they both have a power of 1100 watts.
They also both feature dual infeed and outfeed tables, and they have dual bladed cutting heads.
However, there are plenty of differences as well. So the surface planer makes 16,000 cuts per minute and can cut material up to 152mm wide. It weighs 25.4 kilograms, and although the footprint is bigger than a thicknesser, it is quite a lot shorter.
Whereas the thicknesser spins at 17,500 cuts per minute, and it can cut boards up to 317mm wide. It is slightly heavier than the surface planer at 28.3 kilos. However, both of these machines are portable enough to move them around your workshop whenever you need to.
Here's a quick rundown of how you set up and use the surface planer. First, place your wood on the infeed table before setting your desired cut depth. Next, you want to... Here's Matt. Hello. Next, you want to set the drum guard, as that covers the blade and keeps your fingers nice and safe. Then you want to pass the wood from your infeed table, being sure to keep nice even pressure. Then repeat as necessary.
Here's how it works for the thicknesser. First off, set the cutting height to the current thickness of the wood. You then keep feeding it through repeatedly, lowering the cutter each time until you get the thickness that you want.
So one of our favourite things about both of these machines is that if you've got nice sharp blades, it actually removes about 90% of the sanding you'll need to do afterwards. And I hate sanding.
The thicknesser was actually the first Triton machine that we ever owned, and we've used it countless times for both wood and our recycled plastic projects.
Whilst we've managed to get by sourcing mainly flat stock material, the addition of the surface planer in our workshop is going to save us a load of time and money because we're not having to waste so much material. Ideally, you do need a way of preparing your timber before running it through the thicknesser, and the surface planer does exactly that. The thicknesser by itself won't remove defects like cups and twists, so if you're using wood that isn't particularly flat, you probably will end up wasting quite a lot of material before you get anything usable.
That being said, if you are able to start off with wood that is perfectly flat and square, and you're able to store it in a dry environment, then the thicknesser by itself could work just fine for you. Thanks for watching, guys.
See you in the next one.
Thanks for watching.